the fact that your computer is in a pause. And then when it gets out of the pause, then everything kind of like runs and catches up with it. Why do we even rest ourselves in this technology? I mean, we put it in there and we say this is what we're going to do. We know that it's going to fail us, but we still determined to make sure that we advance. So in all of our advancement, so I'm hoping that this video is actually coming out as a video and not anything other than that. I do hear things happening. However, what's been going on in your world? What's happening in your world? Why is it happening in your world? And how can you stop it from happening in your world? These are lots of questions that we kind of do touch on surviving tough times. Now, last month was the first actual fiscal month of walking through. Now I'm excited to say that even from that month, we have realized and decided that we need to do something for our babies. So, as much as it is important for you and me to have survived some tough times, it is more important for our children to know that they have the power and the ability to survive these tough times. So, here's the invite. Make sure that you comment below. That way I know that I can count on you. Now, if you do not have children, that's fine because you might know someone else that has children. And what this is about, same way that you can bring your thoughts and I can bring my thoughts and they become our thoughts. If we get the children involved, the children will have their thoughts and then we'll actually be able to process some real good stuff and learn a lot in the process. A lot of conflict resolution will be going on. A lot of just processing in general. The things that you need to understand about what happens to you in life or the things that don't happen to you in life and why. And how do we react to those when they do and when they don't? There's a lot that goes on in that. So I'm proud to say that surviving tough times on your March Get Set Go has already begun. So if you have not already gotten your copy of your book, you can go to Amazon. I know it's at Walmart. Amazon and Walmart are like the big two right now. That's what I've heard. So just check it out. Make sure that you have your copy so that way you can put your thoughts on the paper. Because trust me when I tell you that when you get to the table and everyone has a thought, you're going to be upset if you didn't actually voice yours. And this is the opportunity for all of us to get our opinions voiced and everything. That way we can put them on the table because you'd be so surprised how that person that does not look like you, the person that does not talk like you, the person that does not live in your neighborhood has the same exact thought. That's when we got to see exactly what it is that God is calling us into right now. And that is our next. So in order for us to know that our next is going to be exactly what we need it to be, we need to start this process today. So like I said, if you can like, subscribe, and share, do whatever you good stewards do, but make sure that you put in the comment that you have children. And I need to know their ages too, because we're going to do this correctly so that it's not too overwhelming and absolutely just positively boring and not something that is worth needing. So yeah, it's the idea. So now you make it plain because I'm sure there's the need. If you know them and we know them, then put them down in the link. That way we can make sure that first Surviving Tough Times teen edition, they'll be right in there. And we'll never know what's going to happen, but I can definitely tell you that as long as the children are involved, it's futuristically something that's going to work. Remember, because what we're doing today is for our children's children's children. Who is that? Those are the kids that you might not even have yet. And then those kids that they'll have, and then the kids that they will have too. Like for generations to come. Trust me when I tell you that. I realized a lot. Someone said it best the other day. Well, a lot of cultures don't believe that they will come back. So because they don't come back, they don't leave wealth for the ones that are left behind. So I'm not sure if that fits you or not, but what we're going to do is we're changing the narrative of our lives. And the easiest way to change the narrative is to look it dead in the face and let it be known that one, I have survived this thing. Two, you have no jurisdiction over how I feel and what I go through. You might get me for a second, but you can't have me for the day. And that's how we start to conquer. That's how we start to grab our confidence. That's how we begin to walk this thing out and march this thing out together in unity, doing something that we all know needs to be done. So it's the 4th of July, right? Happy Independence Day. Let's be independent about this and say, whoa, 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 back up, wait. All of these other things are good and great, but how about you? How about me? What do we agree on? What can we do? That's the question. So, shout out to Dr. Kenyatta because I only remember the Mr. Sampson skit from Delaware State University where the neighbors are barbecuing. Well, they're pantomiming that they're barbecuing, and it was the best grill ever. I mean, shout out to all of the people. Wellington and Ed, I think, did it the best. But I have seen it. I mean, even me, I've been in it myself. But the whole scene of the 4th of July, where were we as a people in 1776? Yeah, Mr. Sampson, we cooking out. I just want to give a shout out to Doc and say, Doc, they made it because they done finally gave Juneteenth a day. So that means that we got an Independence Day. It is there, Doc. So, Mr. Sampson, I'll save you a sandwich, Mr. Sampson. He just don't know. We just like to barbecue when we get a chance to barbecue. Come on, y'all. I love that scene. It was the best every time. Every time. But shout out to Ed. Ed in Wellington. I think that y'all might. Yeah, I give you some. I gave it to you. I gave you some. But I had did it one time too. So I was there. Um, and those two, one before y'all was kind of good too. I forget one of the names, but I know one was Mark or something. Yeah, they were all right. But shout out to Mr. Sampson. Shout out to Dr. Kenyatta. Shout out to the African Americans that fought to get Juneteenth into where they needed it to be so that they can have an Independence Day. And we say shout out to that. So happy 4th of July for everybody. Stay safe. Um, and if you live in a neighborhood where the kids are dropping bombs and stuff, just let them know your PTSD is not going to stand for too much more of that shit. So after like a certain time, they're going to have to stop. Just tell them like that, and then maybe they should get it. If they don't, they go get crazy. Because that's what PTSD is all about. I'm telling you, you hear bombs and stuff, you start going crazy. You start going crazy. So enjoy your rest of your holiday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.